Okay. Well, let's in fact talk our viewers through the other reactions coming in. We were speaking, of course, about what Russia, of course, has now stated. But let's also tell our viewers about what other countries are stating as well on this conflict, on this on these attacks today on Iran, of course, and the retaliation as well. So starting off with Russia, that we were just speaking about, Russia, of course, saying all negotiations with Iran are a cover operation. No one doubted it. No one really wanted to negotiate anything. So obviously, Russia is saying that this was always planned from day one. They're hinting at that. They've, of course, called out the US for what they've done. All right, let's tell our viewers now about what France has stated, what France has said on these strikes today. France has said this is absolutely essential for the security of everyone in the Middle East. So France obviously backing these strikes there on Iran today by the United States and Israel. Spain now. Spain has called for an immediate de-escalation. Spain has said we demand an immediate de-escalation and full respect for international law. So a cautionary stance being adopted by Spain. They've asked for an immediate de-escalation and respect of international law. The EU now, let's tell our viewers about what the European Union has stated on the situation. The EU says we call on all parties to exercise maximum restraint to protect civilians as well. So obviously civilians to be protected, maximum restraint from all sides is what the European Union is urging. Belgium, meanwhile, saying that the Iranian people must not pay the price for their government's choices. So also calling for restraint for the civilians, of course, not to be harmed there. The Belgian statement, of course, has stated that the Iranian people must not suffer because of the excesses of their regime. Pakistan, meanwhile, has this to say. Pakistan has come out and strongly condemned the unwarranted attacks against Iran. They've called for an immediate halt to escalation. So Pakistan actually coming out against the strikes that the US and Iran and Israel have carried out today. Now, we hope that Donald Trump is listening to what the Pakistanis have said today. All right, Ukraine, meanwhile. Ukraine has this to say. The Ukraine, of course, stating that the Iranian regime has been abusing and terrorizing their region for decades, financing militants that bring instability. So obviously, an all-out attack on the Iranian regime by Ukraine. Ukraine, obviously, in this statement, pretty much backing the action today by the US and Israel. Oman has this to say. I am dismayed. Active and serious negotiations have yet again been undermined. Remember, of course, they were one of the mediators. Oman, of course, coming out and saying that they're dismayed by the strike today, saying that the negotiations have been unfortunately harmed by this strike today. Taiwan now coming out with a statement as well. What has Taiwan said? Well, they've said we're monitoring the situation closely. Taiwan has adopted measures to ensure the safety of citizens. So pretty neutral stance there by Taiwan, say that they're monitoring the situation and, of course, are concerned for the safety of their citizens. Meanwhile, now taking you to another statement that has come in from Japan. The government of Japan, what have they stated on the strikes, on the situation in the Middle East, this very volatile situation that has emerged after this action today by US and Israel? The government of Japan will gather information thoroughly by maintaining close communication with relevant countries. So cautious, neutral stance being put forth by Japan as well as saying that they're gathering information on this evolving situation by speaking with the various players. Indonesia says this President of Indonesia is willing to travel to Tehran to conduct mediation. So Indonesia stepping forward, putting a hand out for mediation, saying that they are willing to conduct the mediation, saying that President of Indonesia can also travel to Tehran if needed. So clearly, of course, world reactions coming in. These are of course, from the cautious to the condemning to, of course, those also supporting the strikes today, to, of course, other ones talking about restraint and no harm on civilians. What do you make, Ambassador Mukherjee, of the kind of reactions that have come in diplomatically from governments, the world, of course, evolving this, evaluating the situation and issuing reactions, of course, putting forth their stands on these strikes today